Ooh boy. Okay, let's get this over with. Peter Pan is probably the film I would have called my favorite Disney film when I started this review series here. And I would have admitted months ago that this was based entirely on nostalgia. But this was probably the Disney film I've seen the most, even though it had been several years since I'd given this movie my undivided attention. And I was very excited to see it again. But damn, was it disappointing. And I mean in just about every way. And it was like everything I remembered about seeing it when I was younger was the opposite from what I saw now. And perhaps my favorite example is the beginning of the film. There are some films I like to take closer looks at for the sake of showing how I came to certain conclusions that I do. And a lot of the time, I do it to point out flaws. I want to sort of do that here, although I'm not going to go in depth for the entire review, so I'm going to sort of go in and out of it. And I first want to take a look at the beginning. I remember thinking that Mr. Darling, the father of the children in the movie, makes an asshole out of himself in the beginning, but I felt completely different about him after seeing it again. In fact, I want to change the beginning of this movie to match how I felt about Mr. Darling and his trials.
Hello, Joseph. Trouble?
Looks like we'll have to send someone down. A lot of people asking for help for a man named...
Mr. Darling. Mr. Darling?
Yes, tonight's his crucial night, you're right. We'll have to send someone down immediately.
But seriously, after just 10 minutes on the screen, he gets his ass handed to him by an open drawer, and then he's looking for a shirt front, only to discover that his two bratty children took it and decide to draw a fucking treasure map on it. And this makes him understandably frustrated. And who wouldn't be mad about that? And why couldn't these brats just use paper? Oh, shut up! Shut the fuck up! Okay, so Mr. Darling understandably puts his foot down and tells Wendy that she has to move out of their nursery and get a room of her own. When I was younger, I actually bought into this being bad. But now their crazy reactions to this look completely over the top and out of place. And then, well, watch what happens. What a bunch of assholes! He could have been really hurt.
But you could have been really hurt.
Which is what the doctor told him. So we've been talking about life insurance.
I thought you already had coverage.
With our budget and health history, it hasn't been an option.
But we did just hear about something called Guaranteed Acceptance Life Insurance.
I've heard of this. I've also heard you can't be turned down for health reasons.
But applying for life insurance can be so difficult.
My friend Sarah's mom just got this policy from MetLife. There were no medical questions or exams, and it was affordable.
I would feel better if your mom was protected.
Guaranteed Acceptance Life Insurance from MetLife is affordable life insurance that can be used to help cover expenses such as funeral costs, credit card debt, and medical bills. It can ease financial burdens and help protect your spouse or loved ones. If you're age 45 to 75, call MetLife today to learn more.
Why don't we call right now?
Call MetLife at 1-877-234-8035 to learn more. That's 1-877-234-8035. 1-877-234-8035.
This accident and his family's reaction really makes Mr. Darling lose his cool, resulting in him throwing the dog outside. And I want to talk for a minute about the dog. I used to buy into the idea of a dog playing the role of a maid, but I just find it kind of weird now. Yeah, that's all I really have to say about the dog. Moving on. Well, I guess I'll skip to the part where Peter Pan and his fairy friend Tinkerbell show up. And here is where the biggest problem in the movie lies, and it's Peter Pan himself. I remember really liking him, but, well, he's an asshole. And I mean that. There is not an ounce of likability anywhere in this character, and I honestly don't get why he has so many friends in this movie. I mean, the first thing he says to Wendy is that girls talk too much, and Tinkerbell's sort of the same way, although I think being bitchy suits her more. Okay, so Peter Pan hears that Wendy is going to have to quote-unquote grow up the next day, and decides to take her with him to Neverland. And after a very uncharming scene I used to like, they fly out of their house for Neverland, and then we get introduced to Captain Hook. And his voice sounds very familiar. Wait. It's the same voice as Mr. Darling! That's it. I've decided. Mr. Darling is like a messiah. If Jesus had to die for our sins, Mr. Darling's character had to die for this movie to have a corny, artistic element in it. And honestly, the pirates are the only thing in Neverland that I liked. And although they aren't particularly great, they aren't unlikable or super bland like the rest of the characters in this movie. Okay, so right after they arrive, Tinkerbell convinces the Lost Boys that Wendy is a bird and tells them that Peter said to shoot it down. These people are fucking stupid! Show me a bird that looks like a human, and I'll show you... Fuck! Because of her, actions, Tinkerbell gets banished forever, only for Peter to change his mind and make it a week. Well, how charming. And then the gang splits up, with John, the boy who's never been to Neverland before, leading the rest of them to go hunt Indians, while Peter shows Wendy the mermaids. Okay, after what I can officially call the bland Disney song, the boys are captured by the Indians, and the Indian chief, who I'll discuss more in depth in a minute, blames them for kidnapping their princess Tiger Lily. Okay, I'll be the first to admit that Peter isn't the most likable guy. But if I were him and my princess had gone missing, instead of blaming the kids on the island, who they apparently socialize with a lot, why not blame, I don't know, the fucking pirates? But I guess that would be too obvious. Meanwhile, Peter shows Wendy the mermaids and... Okay, so, when the mermaids... when they see Wendy, they try to fucking drown her. And when Wendy calls out to Peter for help, he starts fucking laughing. Our hero, ladies and gentlemen. And when Wendy tries to defend herself, Peter stops her and starts making excuses for the mermaids. What the hell? There is seriously nothing likable about this guy. I guess maybe when I was younger, a lot of this stuff went over my head, but it really gets to me now. Okay, so Peter and Wendy spot Hook and Smee taking Tiger Lily somewhere to interrogate her, so she will reveal Peter Pan's hideout to them. This leads to Peter playing tricks on them, and eventually a fight ensues. And honestly, I kind of want the pirates to win. Yeah, they're the bad guys, but at least they get some laughs out of me. And there's a lot more character to them than to Peter, even though there still isn't much there. But of course Peter wins, and there's a scene with some admittedly pretty solid slapstick with Hook, Smee, and the crocodile, and it's the only thing in this movie I've really liked so far. And so, Tiger Lily is saved, only after Wendy reminds Peter while he's boasting that she's, fucking drowning. Once again, our hero. And then, this song happens. I didn't have a problem with the crows in Dumbo, but this is nothing but racist trash right here. It is insulting, and yeah, I don't even want to talk about this shit anymore. It's pathetic. Okay, so Hook captures and convinces Tinkerbell to show him Peter's hiding place. And they end up going there, and overhear Wendy telling them that they have to go home. And this plot element is sort of brought up out of nowhere, and it's poorly used, really. Although, it wouldn't be a bad thing to have in the film, but again, I just don't think they implemented it very well. But she does convince everyone to leave, so they do, only to get kidnapped by the pirates. And Hook lays a trap for Peter in the form of a bomb. But oh, thankfully, Tinkerbell escapes and saves Peter by taking the bomb and... Wait a minute! That's such bullshit! Look, this bothered me as a kid. She only flies like 3 feet before the bomb explodes. Peter would be fucking dead. But of course he isn't. And even Tinkerbell is alive. So, you're telling... How is that bomb going to kill him? Tinkerbell was literally right on top of the bomb, and she's still alive. Peter probably could have ate the fucking thing and still lived then. I mean, that thing would have killed Tinkerbell way before it would have endangered Peter's life, so what the fuck is going on? Oh, holy shit. Okay. Peter reconciles with Tinkerbell, telling her that she means more to him than anything, which is such fucking bullshit. Because, I mean, all he has done to her up to that point is treat her like shit and banish her for life and then a week. Best friend, my ass. This guy's such a fucking ass. Okay, Peter saves everyone from the pirates, takes the kids to London, they go home, the end. Thank God. I said in my Pinocchio review that there might be a better duo than Pinocchio and Jiminy Cricket in a Disney film. And the duo I meant was Hook and Smee. Well, that certainly is not the case, not even fucking close. Although they are easily the best part of Neverland. But my favorite character is actually the Messiah, Mr. Darling. I feel like the movie does him a great injustice by villainizing this great and honorable man, and his taking the fall for other sins is the only thing truly great and miraculous about this movie. The songs suck. I guess the best song is Your Mother and Mine, the song Wendy sings towards the end of the movie. It's really the only sort of good song here. I guess You Can Fly isn't bad either, but the only part of it I like is the second half, when they leave the house and are flying through London. The first part is pretty dull. The best scene in the movie is the scene with Hook, Smee, and the crocodile. Like I mentioned earlier, when they had Tiger Lily hostage, the end of that fight there. It's actually pretty funny, and the only scene in the film where I was, really, really entertained. Other than, of course, the scenes with the Messiah. And that's it, folks. For a film I remembered as being one of my favorite Disney films, it sure was a disappointment. The hero was an unlikable jerk, the songs weren't good by Disney standards, and it was just a very, very shabby film. And shabby really is the best word to use in describing it. I have been a huge fan of the Peter Pan story for all of my life, and now I really hope this was just a bad adaptation. I sort of want to watch another version now, just to sort of redeem the story, which I've always sort of been drawn to. Okay, you guys need to brace yourselves for this. Grab onto your chairs, your tables, whatever you're sitting next to, because you're in for a shock. I'm not going to give this a definitively negative score. The big reason why is because I'm willing to bet that Peter Pan is a movie that you like more the younger you are. And I do think it still works for younger people. And only the character of Peter and that piece of shit song were really bad. Most of it's just sort of bland. And for a movie I have considered before to be my favorite Disney movie, I cannot begin to describe the incredible amount of disappointment that I feel. But I just can't bring myself to give this movie a negative score. I can't in my heart. But I certainly can't give it a positive one. So I'm going to give Peter Pan 2.5 stars out of 5. And again, like I said before with another movie I rated this, that sort of means view at your own risk. Children will probably like it. I mean, I don't know. I guess I'll let my kids watch it. I mean, that song's very offensive. I guess I'll let my kids watch it. Kids will enjoy it. Adults might if you're nostalgic for it, but I didn't do anything for me. It probably won't do anything for a lot of people. It'll probably do something for others. So if you think you'll like it, I mean, if you haven't seen it in a while, I guess it's worth checking out once, but I don't think I can recommend it really. But yeah, 2.5 stars out of 5. All right, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.